Today, we're going to be reviewing this light from GVM. It's the SD650B Pro. It's a 650 watt bicolor LED light that's aimed directly as a competitor at the Aputure 600X. And the crazy thing is that this light is half the price of the Aputure one. So in today's video, I'm gonna let you know what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and whether or not I would recommend it over the Aputure light. For those of you that are new around here, my name's Riley, and I'm a documentary filmmaker that likes talking all things filmmaking and creativity. So if you're into making documentaries or films with small crews, then you're in the right place. Consider subscribing and following along. All right, let's get into the video. Just a quick disclosure up front, GVM did send me this light for a review. I'm not getting paid by them and I'm not sponsored by them, and they don't get any input on the contents of this video. But as far as I know, I get to keep the light when the video's over, so it's not like nothing of value changed hands. But as always, I will do my best to be unbiased and honest in my opinion. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into some quick overview and specs on this light. This review is going to be less of a technical deep dive on certain specs because I don't have every light meter and every light to compare this to. So it's going to be more of kind of just my overall impressions of working with this light and what my overall thoughts are and how it compares to my own personal experience using the Aputure competitors. Now, as you'll see, this light is huge and it's robust, and I think it's very, very well built. As you can see here, it's made out of kind of a full metal build. It has a nice yoke on it that you can kind of obviously tilt up and down and rotate it basically about 360 degrees. And so it feels very similar to the Aputure 300D that I've rented and used a handful of times. Again, full metal build. It definitely feels pro in its build quality, and it definitely has a punchy output. This thing does not skimp in any way on the output. Now, if I compare it to the other Aputure lights, this one is rated, according to GVM on B&H, at 77,000 lux at 3.3 feet using the reflector. And for comparison, the Aputure lux reading with the same distance and the included reflector is 63.9 thousand lux. So you're getting right around 13 or 14,000 more lux out of this light. And again, I don't have the 600X to verify that or do a comparison, but I can tell you that it is super bright, and it's one of the things that they've advertised on their website is that when you kind of go through the color temperature range, you're not really sacrificing a ton of output. But it is worth noting that at the warmer color temperatures, this is going to be slightly dimmer, and as you cool down the light, you're going to get more output out of it. And I think that this is a smart choice because honestly, the majority of the time when you're using something like this, you're going to be using it to match a daylight source like the sun coming through a window and that sort of thing. And so kind of having the brightness mapped towards the cooler end of the spectrum on the light, I think is valuable and is a nice feature to have. One more thing to note is that the color accuracy on this light does seem to be pretty good. The CRI scores and the TLCI scores are all comparable with the Aputure lights. And again, I don't have the meters to read these, and I don't have the Aputure lights to do a direct comparison, but I've been pretty happy with this light on the couple of shoots that I've done. It doesn't seem to have any sort of weird color cast on skin tones, and it seems to be pretty true to life. So overall, I've been really happy with the color output as well as the color accuracy of this light, and definitely gives me the confidence to use it on other shoots. So the light is pretty nice, especially given the price, but what does it come with? Obviously it comes with the light and this nice yoke, but it also comes with one of these reflectors that seems pretty standard. The light takes a standard Bowens mount. which I really like because it means you can add modifiers like this reflector, a big softbox, or some sort of Fresnel to the front of it. As far as I know, it will accept all the standard Aputure modifiers, which I really appreciate. And as well, the light also comes with a really nice case. Now the case reminds me a lot of the Aputure case. It's very well built. It has pretty much an identical color scheme to the Aputure cases, and it's pretty rugged. I would not have any hesitation about packing the light up, putting it in the case and throwing it in the back of my car and having other cases and C-stands and stuff stacked on top of it. The light case is sturdy and firm, and I think it's gonna hold up over time. And as well, the light also comes with a really nice ballast system. So the control box and the ballast are kind of all built into one. And what's really nice about this is it's not built into this light. And so you're gonna get the cables that come with it that extend off of the light, and you're gonna be able to access the control box at a lower point. And then as well, it's got another power cord that comes off of the control box to be able to plug into wall power. The control box also accepts V-mount batteries, so you can put 2 V-mount batteries and run this light at a 50% capacity, so at basically like a 300 watt power draw from the V-mounts, which is really nice because if you're filming in a location where you don't have access to wall power, you can plug it in on V-mounts and still be able to use it. And then as well, all of the control dials are accessible right there on that control box. Now, the cable that attaches from the light to the control box is about 5 or 6 feet. So it's not super long. You might want to get a different cable if you're going to be rigging this up into, like a really high truss system, and you need to have access to the control box. But the nice thing is that this light does come with an app, which is going to lead me into some of the things that I don't like about this light. So this light does come with an app, and I would say it definitely works. You're able to control all of the settings and features that you'll find on the control box. However, the app is not very robust, and when you compare it to the Sidus Link app, it definitely falls short in this regard. There's no settings or features that the app opens up that you won't find on the control box. So you're not going to be able to program cues necessarily, and I don't think that there's an easy way to group fixtures together like you can on the Sidus Link app. That being said, the app works, and when the light is rigged in an inaccessible way, it definitely is going to be able to control all the settings. It seems like this is where GVM opted to save some money, and I would definitely take it because, like I've said before, the build quality and the output is excellent. So if I had to choose between cutting corners on the build quality and cutting corners on an app that I'm not going to use very often, then I would definitely go with what GVM opted to do and have excellent build quality and a simpler app. So do I think that this light is worth it over the Aputure 600X? Well, I think that's going to depend on you and your workflow. If you're someone who has a bunch of Aputure or Amaran fixtures and you're heavily reliant on the Sidus Link ecosystem, then this light from GVM might slow you down because you're going to have to mess with a different app and you're not going to have the same robust feature set that you do on the Sidus Link ecosystem. But if you're someone like me that doesn't have a ton of Aputure fixtures and you're using other manufacturers like Godox, for example, and you aren't using an app for your larger key lights, then this light from GVM is definitely a better value in my opinion, because you can buy 2 of these 600B lights for the price of one Aputure 600X. In the short time that I've had this light, I've been super happy with it and I can't recommend it enough.